Hi, everyone. Welcome. We have another great session here, and Jacob Shekrel is with us. How are you?
Thank you very much, Rita. Good to see
Yeah,
you again.
good to see you again. Indeed, we've been together already. So very shortly, Jacob is a mental strategist and clinical hypnotherapist. Using a method that he developed, he helps entrepreneurs and executives to overcome stress and anxiety and to strengthen confidence and self-esteem. By education, Jacob is a sociologist and anthropologist. He is a life success consultant student and the representative of Bob Proctor in Spain. He has 40 years of experience in the business world as the owner and partner in several businesses. He moved to Spain from Israel 21 years ago, and this is it. Now the stage is all yours,
Thank you
Jacob.
very much, Rita.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes para todos. Estamos en España, pero hoy hablamos en inglés. Yo vivo en Valencia y me gusta mucho que estás aquí. So, estamos en inglés. In this lecture, not only that I'm going to explain you how to overcome the biggest obstacle to success, but I will give you also a present, a practical gift to create it in your life. Every person wants to succeed. Even a monk who lives in a cave and meditating all day, he wants to succeed in his goals that he set for himself. He even maybe defined for himself a goal to have less than the others. Yet, in the modern Western world that we're living, most of the people want to have more than others. Just like the definition of the American dream, to have bigger, stronger, faster. So this information, which I'm going to share with you in the coming minutes, suits for everyone. Well, maybe not that monk which I was telling you about. And it doesn't really matter if you're an entrepreneur or a senior executive with 35 years of experience, or you're just a young man who's going for his first job interview for his dream job. We all need to know our assets. We know that we need to differentiate ourselves from the others. We need to brand ourselves and to be more efficient, to establish our authority and to know in which platform to market ourselves or our products. And guess what? This list which I just mentioned, even our competitors knows it. So just like you learn those things, they too learn them. Yet there's one thing that your competitors don't know. And I believe that you don't know it either. And I'm talking how to avoid this slippery trap that every business person, every entrepreneur, and every executive are dealing with. And I'm talking about the stress leading to anxiety, leading to depressions. And in about 90 minutes, you're going to know something that your competitors don't know. And this knowledge is going to help you to close the gaps between the reality and the competitive world, between results and your desires, and to lead you into a reality of inner peace. And it will allow you to create sustained growth and economic security. Yet, the most important thing that you're going to learn is how to create internal resilience. And I'm sure that you know or heard about successful people who manage to generate tens of millions of dollars. And most of them, despite the money they have, they're unhappy. And the reason for this lack of happiness is the lack of inner resilience. The inner resilience is the ultimate weapon that helps people not only to reach the peaks of success they want, but also to live with satisfaction. And this, your competitors don't know. To reveal this secret to you, I want to take you to a journey. Don't worry. It will be a fast and yet deep journey. In the last 5 years, using a method which I developed, I help professionals to release, to overcome the cause of stress and anxiety, to close the gaps in their lives, and to reach a situation they don't need any more medications. This, they're going to coordinate with their doctors. So I have two questions for you, a survey. And I'm going to ask from Rita to bring up the first survey. So here in the first survey, what you can see is in a scale from 1 to 10, when 1 is low stress and 10 is a high stress. In which level would you define your level of stress? So you can see it here, and please write it down. And after you do it, it's a fast. You can just mark it, and it will be okay. The second question, which we're going to ask, the second survey, it's an answer of yes or no. And remember, it's an anonymous survey. And my question is, are you using sedatives or any psychiatric medication? And just write yes or no. So I'll give you a second to do it, and then we're going forward. In the modern world, we will learn to live in an instant world, that we don't need to solve the problems, but only the symptoms. For instance, do you have a headache? Take a pill and the pain will pass. But you didn't solve the problems, because tomorrow the headache will be there again. And the stress is one of the biggest secrets in the professional world. Most of the professionals are trying to hide from the colleagues, from the bosses, from the employees, because stress is considered as it's affecting their judgment. And they're afraid that the people around them will think that they have lost their power. Many are confident that stress is an integral part of their careers. For young workers starting to climb the career ladder, they think the stress is part of their life, sure that the stress is pushing them forward. And I know that because I'm familiar with it, because of stress at work, family, studying. At the age of 32, I found myself 3 days in the hospital. The doctors suspected a heart attack. And later, at the age of 37, 38, I went through 4 economic and emotional crises. And I found myself in the lowest place ever. I'm a person that usually can solve all the problems I have, but that time I couldn't find a way to solve the crisis. And I reached a point that I wanted to end my life. 18 years I've been in a cave. And when I came out from it, I started the journey to where I am today. And by the way, a person who tells himself, I'm strong, it won't happen to me, you know what, maybe. But according to this research of Harvard Business School, the statistics show that more than 50% from executives are experiencing stress and anxiety. And I want to tell you something else. Those that outwardly, they look strong, they are the one going through the most difficult crisis. And that's because they built the biggest walls to hide behind them. In 2004, Miami Herald published an article. The doctor organization said that stress is the #1 cause of death, which is responsible to 6 of the most deadly illnesses: heart attacks, stroke, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, and even suicide as a result of depression. So it's a good reason to know how we can solve our stress issues, to know which triggers can affect our stress. In young people at the beginning of their professional path, they can be scared in interview, they sweat, they're insecure. Others are afraid to go to the boss and to ask for a raise that they deserve after investing years of extra hours neglecting their family. And senior executives in their 50s are also already tired. They're already thinking about the coming pension. And just as they're waiting for it, it scares them. And yet they need to show the boss that they're doing a great job, despite the pressure that they feel of the young colleagues who are pushing them forward and they want to heritage their position. About 3 years ago, I worked with a senior executive in corporate America. She suffered from high blood pressure and migraine that lasts a week. She used medication. She also suffered from stress, anxiety that leads to depression. And she had to use sedatives. And at night, to escape from that difficulty, she used to drink wine and take pills to fall asleep. Yet anxiety attacks would wake her up during night, and she was in a constant sleep deprivation. Now, she lived with the stress several years, and that caused her divorce and affected her kids. Now, one of the triggers which added stress into her life was she had to hide her situation from her bosses and employees. And in life, we have three core areas which are relate and affect each other. And I'm talking about health, relationship, and career. And one area is not functioning well, immediately it affects the other areas. So these three areas are the trigger that also causing a stress. And I want to ask you, and this is the third survey, if you had stress event, to which of one of these areas it belongs to. And now the technical team, Rita, will bring up the survey so you can answer that question. And remember, soon I'm going to share with you a gift, special gift. So Rita, if you can please bring, thank you very much. Now, you can see there, you can answer, it's fast response. And that executive, senior executive, she's not suffering anymore from stress and anxiety. She doesn't need any more medication, not for physical health, not for mental health. And wine, she's drinking just for fun. When I worked with her using the method which I developed, the solution arrived the minute I identified and took care of the root of the stress, which was emotional trauma at the age of 7. And the minute we released the trauma, the emotional trauma, using the hypnosis, everything started to change. Situations that were previously perceived as threatening triggers were no longer a problem. And that executive, she's not the only one I worked with. I helped with a business consultant from Italy. I worked with entrepreneur from Israel, from Australia, from United States. I also worked with a young business person from Qatar who stopped using medication, mental medication, and many others. So let's understand what is exactly stress. The human brain has one purpose only, to maintain the physical survival. Now, to do it, the brain is using two organisms, small organisms in the size of an almond, which called amygdala. The amygdalas are connected to all the parts of the brain, and they receive the information from the 5 senses. In a split of a second, they check the threats. They make sure if we need to respond in fight, flight, or freeze. And when there is no any physical threat, the situation continues as a stress, which creates physiological and mental phenomena. It's increasing blood pressure, abdominal pain, thoughts, and simulation of danger. Meaning, stress is emotional distress, which perceived as a threat to our existence, and its effect of our physiology and mentally. And it's triggered by external triggers. Yet, still, many are blaming other people or situations that they're causing their stress. But as I said, it's not like this. People and situations are just triggers. And those triggers evoke the memories and the interpretations on this emotional hurt or the trauma from our childhood, and we react in stress. Now, the triggers always continue to appear in our life. Yet, the minute that we solve the root cause of the problem, the trigger won't affect us anymore. During childhood and adolescence, 99% of the kids are experiencing one or more from 3 types of abuse. We have the physical abuse, there's the verbal or mental abuse, and the sexual abuse. And that's true for men and women. Now, those traumas are affecting the inner self-image, causing a lack of self-confidence and lack of self-esteem, lack of self-love, a feeling that I don't deserve, shyness, fears, the impostor syndrome. And when people are getting older, several things happen. The first one, that people become control freak. They must control just because of the fear that they might be harmed again. The second phenomena, that they're building big walls to hide behind them, because the emotional effect, the emotional hurt in the childhood causing a low self-esteem. And the wall that we build shows the world a strong character that we wish to be. The third phenomena, when people are getting older, they want to bury the memories of the traumas. And they hope that forgetting will help them to break free and take off for success. Now, it doesn't really matter how many decades of years we're trying to bury and hide our hurt emotions, but they continue to bubble inside just like a volcano. And every time that we face a trigger, those hurt feelings erupt, just like volcanic lava. In my method, I help people to locate the hidden traumas and to neutralize those traumas from the emotional system. And then, not only that we don't need to try to forget, but even the external trigger doesn't affect us. And in this stage, we can rebuild again the self-confidence and the self-esteem, and we can even give up the walls. So, now that we understand the stress is emotional reaction of the emotional system, and when we solve the root cause, we can avoid stress in our life, and it's much healthier. Now that you know that there is a fast and healthier way to overcome stress, and I'm sure that you want to know the secret that your competitors don't know. When your competitors are dealing with stress, they want to solve symptoms. They're searching for external solutions like maybe medication or yoga or meditation, breathing techniques or whatever. But all these are just temporary solutions. They can help you relax. But at the moment of truth, when a trigger appears in our life, all these ways are not effective. And now you also know the secret that in order to build the inner resilience, we need to dive in to search for the solution deep inside us. We need to find the root cause that's affecting our perceptions and to release it from our life. And it can be a very fast and effective process. And let your competitors to look outside for the temporary solutions somewhere out there. And then I thought, okay, so now you know what you should do. Yet how can I help each one of you in a practical way? And I decided not to leave you with empty hands, just with knowledge, and to help each one of you to make the first step to release those hurt emotions and that causing your stress. I prepared for you a gift. It's a file of audio, it's of hypnosis, which I called it the Mind Game Changer. And I recommend that you listen to it at least once a day for several weeks. The audio is going to help you to overcome the stress issues and the anxiety, to strengthen your self-confidence and your self-esteem, and to change the paradigms, limiting paradigms that you have. So I'm going to ask Rita now to bring up this link so you can see it here. And minutes, in the next few minutes after you register to this gift, you're going to receive an email with the link of the gift inside. You also find there all the instruction how to use the audio. And if someone of you is dealing with stress and he wants to make a meaningful process, I invite you to contact me. So thank you very much. I'm Jacob Shekrel, and if you have questions, you're most welcome to ask them now, if we have time, Rita.
Thank you, Jacob. Yes, we have 1 minute left. Yeah, you already posted the link as well. I posted the link. There's no questions yet coming from the Q&A. We don't have a lot of time, so please hurry up. Is there anything you would like to add on this, Jacob, yourself, maybe to wrap this conversation? Because we're going to be soon having to move to the next talk. You're free to go. Yep.
If somebody wants to talk with me and find out how we can overcome stress, because stress is what affecting all of us in all work situation. Doesn't matter what is the experience that we have. So yes, if someone wants to contact me, he's welcome to do it.
LinkedIn, website, all of that, right?
LinkedIn, website, whatever they can. Yeah, absolutely. Facebook, my name. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was a great talk, as usual. It's the second time I listened to you. I think it's very important that we discuss these topics. And now with the pandemic, it opened a little window. I think it helped towards talking about mental health, publicly and openly. and seeking for help. So I think this is very, very relevant. Thank you again for being here. Thank you, everybody. And stick around for the next talks. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Thank you.